Everybody. Hope you've had a restful week. Most of you guys are doing a good job turning in your assignments. A couple of you, it's unfortunate. Um, so hopefully you guys can stay diligent with your work, even though you're not at school. No, it's tough sometimes, but I don't think I'm flooding you with too much work. I mean, it's just stuff we would have been doing anyway, so it's not like it's an insane amount of work. Uh, so if you're missing stuff, please turn it in because the later it is, the lower it goes. Uh, but hopefully everybody can continue to do a great job and turn their stuff in on time. I'm super proud of you. All right. Just so while I got you here, let's take a look at Schoology. And today is the 15th. So today we will do some notes on federalism. I'll try to keep it brief. And then I'll put it on YouTube, which you will already have done as you are watching this. And then tomorrow, a case brief on Gibbons v. Ogden, 1824, so a pretty old one. And turn that in at any point tomorrow, or you could even turn it in today if you wanted. And then tomorrow I'll put everything on for next week. So, obviously if you still haven't completed yesterday's 2 assignments, you need to do that. And then if you haven't, we did some notes that day. And then chapter 3 of vocabulary. So make sure that you're keeping up with your assignments as best as you can, okay? So let's see here. Need this one. Okay, so whatever note-taking apparatus you're using, go ahead and get that out, get it ready, and we'll pick up where we left off. We were talking about the denied powers under the Constitution. Today, we'll talk a little bit about some state and local government, how those are given authority and how they some constitutional provisions for those. So, in addition to having federalism, which is the really differentiating in the relationship between the power of the states and the federal government. The Constitution also provides some mechanisms for resolving interstate disputes and then facilitating those relations among the states. So, like if 2 states are having an argument before the Constitution, those states would just have it out and nothing would really get done. The Constitution of the United States makes it able to resolve these interstate disputes by being like the arbitrator and they're supreme and what they say goes. Now, in addition to the federal government being able to arbitrate disputes between states, the Constitution also has some clauses that ensure several different things. For example, the full faith and credit clause. This is part of Article 4 of the Constitution, and it makes sure that anything that judges decree, anytime a contract is made in one state, that contract is going to be binding and enforceable in another state. So if you go to Nevada, you go to Las Vegas, and you go before a judge and you get married, that is a judicial decree. You have entered into a contract with another person, and because of the full faith and credit clause, when you return home to West Virginia, you're still married. So even if you get married in a different state, it was done in a different state, it was done by a judge of that state, it doesn't matter because of the full faith and credit clause. So all judicial decrees and contracts in one state are binding and enforceable in any other states because of the full faith and credit clause. So, another provision, excuse me, is the Privileges and Immunities Clause, which is also part of Article 4. It guarantees the citizens of each state are afforded the same rights as citizens of other states. So, in addition to this, there's this thing called extradition. If you ever watched Law and Order, you probably know what extradition is. But the extradition clause requires states to extradite or return criminals to states where they've been convicted or are to stand trial. So if if I'm a murderer, if I have committed murder here in the state of West Virginia, and to flee that murder, I leave town. I go and I move to Texas, and the authorities in Texas arrest me for, I don't know, a lesser crime, shoplifting, and I'm in jail for shoplifting. And when they run my records and they find out I'm a wanted person for murder, the state of Texas will send me to West Virginia. They will extradite me to stand trial, okay? Because murder is a more serious crime than shoplifting, and so that is something that they will do, and that's part of Article 4 as well. So, requires states to return criminals to the states where they have been convicted or are to stand trial. So this is just a few clauses that regulate things that go on within the states and between the states. And as we move on, we'll look more at how local governments work. Okay. Now, when it comes to local governments, they have no power in and under the United States Constitution. They have no power. Okay. So really, it's all because of this thing called Dillon's Rule, which comes from Judge John Dillon, who after the Civil War stated that all local governments, doesn't matter if it's a town, village, city, county, parish, doesn't matter what it is, they do not have any inherent sovereignty. They have no power of their own, and that all local governments get their power from the states, which create or abolish them. States have the ability to create towns, to create cities, and give them charters, which is basically like a constitution for that particular place, which are all created by states. So within the state of West Virginia, we have towns and cities. We don't have villages, but we have towns and cities. That's what is created by our state. We also have counties. Other states don't. They may not use counties. Like Louisiana doesn't have counties. They have parishes. And that's fine. That's just what that state creates. And any state can really create however they want to do their local governments. Now, counties are the basic administrative units of local government, and with a few exceptions, counties have pretty broad responsibilities, and they're used by state governments to do things like help the general welfare, come up with environmental programs, courts, registration of land, births, and deaths, and that's all true. If you need a birth certificate, you go to the courthouse. Really, any kind of certificate, like marriage certificate, birth certificate, death certificate, are all contained within the Statistics Bureau of your county courthouse, and they have pretty broad responsibilities when it comes to protecting the environment. You probably if you have public water, which I would imagine most of you do, unless you have well or something, you get your water from a public service district, which is operated by the counties. If you have sewer system, that sewer system is operated and maintained by the county, the Raleigh County Public Service District. So these are just a few responsibilities of counties. Now there's also municipalities. Municipalities are city governments. So Beckley, Sophia, and then we have some towns as well. Sophia is really a town. Really, the only municipality we have in Raleigh County is Beckley. But municipalities are city governments that are created to respond to the emergence of relatively dense populations. So whatever the county and the state determines for that particular municipality is however they want to work it. So every city is going to be different. Every municipality is going to be different based upon what the states want. And then you're going to have some overlap between county and municipal boundaries. They're going to overlap in their responsibilities. So, if I live in the city of Beckley and I call 911, I could get a city police officer, I could get a county police officer, I could get a state trooper, because there's overlap that's involved. So municipalities, their boundaries overlap, their responsibilities can overlap. And let's see, towns. There's a beautiful photograph of lovely downtown Sophia, West Virginia. Now, a town is generally today used to refer to smaller communities. So these smaller communities, like Sophia, are often run by a mayor and a town council. And the definition of a town varies considerably from state to state. In some states, for example, towns and municipalities can be virtually indistinguishable, while other states set specific size restrictions for towns. So within this, though, there are special districts. So counties like ours have formed special districts, and special districts are the most numerous aspect of local government. It's basically just a part of government that serves a specific or particular function, like libraries. They serve a specific function. Sewage, water, parks and recreation, education. School districts are by far the most common form of special districts because they exist to provide free public education for students living in that particular district. They have their own budgets. They must persuade those without children in a district to kick in. And we're very, very fortunate in Raleigh County that we have a levy in which voters get to choose to pay extra taxes so that education is given more money. That helps to fund schools, extracurricular programs, and Raleigh County is very, 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 very fortunate to do that because a lot of counties and districts around us do not pass levies, and they really struggle for everything. So, now that doesn't mean that Raleigh County is totally 100% subsidized by our taxpayers. That's not true. We get a lot of money from the state of West Virginia and a lot of money from the federal government. And that money has to be used for specific purposes. Like right now, everybody can get a free school lunch. Doesn't matter how much income you have. Doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter. You get a free school lunch because the federal government has subsidized that during the coronavirus, so that every child in the state of West Virginia, or at least in Raleigh County, can get a free school lunch. So now when it comes to the day-to-day operations of the schools, obviously at every individual school there's a principal, but as far as the county goes, there's a school board whose members are elected in nonpartisan elections. So our school board members, they don't run as Democrats or Republicans. They just run as people. And they administer our school district, supervise our officials like our superintendent and assistant superintendents. And they're all together responsible for the day-to-day operations of our school system. So special districts are probably they are definitely the most numerous form, and school districts are really the most common. All right, so I think I'll stop there. I don't want to get into McCullough and Gibbons v. Ogden because I know you're going to do Gibbons v. Ogden tomorrow for your case brief. So I know you can do Gibbons v. Ogden tomorrow. Next time we get together and we do some notes, hopefully we'll be together, and we'll do McCullough, Maryland, Gibbons, Ogden, Barron v. Baltimore. Then we'll get to talking about cake, layer cake, and marble cake. Two different types of federalism, and that's what's going to be on our plate for next week. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. Make sure that you keep up with your assignments. If you're missing stuff, turn it in ASAP. All right. Obviously, if you have questions, comments, hit me up, and I'll help you out any way I can. You guys take care. Take care of each other.